Welcome one and all, whoever may be watching this, part 43, Tides of Numenéra. I can say words. We are making smashing progress.
At last.
Which is kind of cool. I always love progress. How do we get out of here? Makina, you're in the way.
Go.
Oh, and peeps have leveled up. Oh, okay. I should do something about that, I guess. As you emerge from the trade post, you hear sharp intakes of breath. Two merchants, a fat man and a sickly-looking Vigellan, are staring at you in amazement. That great jaw and the teeth, they're gone, the portly human beams at you. Was this your doing? If it was, you have our deepest thanks. But we are no better off, the Vigellan points out. Our wagon is still supper for the bloom thing. Quite right, the human frowns. But it's still damned impressive. I thought that bloom only answered to the Memavira. Where is she when we need her help, eh? Good question, my dude. Where are leaders when their people need them?
Forward.
Oh, she's so close to leveling up. There's always one that has to be different, you know?
Yes.
Okay, so now we can head back to Dracogen. I wonder if anything we've done can help the lass here.
Sure.
I don't know why, I just really want to help her and her poor Anine. No, it just kind of looks like... Oh yay, it worked this time, woohoo! You can see the woman struggle, her whole body shakes. You faintly hear a whispering cacophony of sound, chittering and buzzing, lashing out in rage as it fights back. Then it falls silent. The merchant's eyes soften and focus. She shakes her head as if clearing it. I did it. The voices are gone. The Anine also shakes its head, snorts and settles back on its haunches.
I'm ready to pick my path.
Did she level up again? Oh no, that was Makina. Okay, perfect. The merchant turns to you with clearer eyes. Thank you. I don't know what was wrong with me. The bloom got to my head and changed my Anine too. But I think she's back to her old self now. She hesitates, then nods. You come back anytime you like. I'll give you a discount. It's the least I can do. Oh, perfect. Can we do some shopping? I've got stuff I should probably sell. Should I sell the amulet? Oh no, that's a compass. Alright, let's sell that. Keep those. I mean, that's a Merecaster. Why would I want to sell that? Take that. I'm gonna have to look at like what all of these things do. Ooh, yeah, we can sell the key. I don't want it. We've done all we need to do there. I mean, hopefully none of these things... Okay, what was that? Soul of the Forgotten. Okay, let's have a look at that maybe at some point. I'm sure all of these things would be helpful in some way. Okay, only usable by me. Perfect. I'll take that. Oh, it looks like a raptor. Oh, I kind of almost want to keep that. Ooh, a Merecaster. An astronomical Merecaster. Alright, let's keep that. Patience everlasting. Ossified trifolium. Cute. Gauntlet of murder. If you listen closely, a hum can be heard. Okay, well, let's see what that's about, I guess. Medium-ranged weapon. Ooh, okay.
Matt
Yes.
Keena. Not Maddie. Matt Keena. Did I get that right?
Close enough.
I know this entire time I've been playing this game, I've been pronouncing her name wrong.
Fear me more, I mean.
Okay, so we've got a jar of... Oh, yeah. Why is that a quest artifact? What happens if we use this? So you pull the world orb from your bag. The sigil buttons rise obediently from its surface, waiting to be pressed. Oh, okay, so this is the one where we can, like, call people to us or something. Oh, so we could call Tibia. It's not happening, though. Okay, so there was the, well, I mean, there's this. This one. As soon as you place this device in the palm of your hand, the stately oh, it's a Merecaster. Okay, I think we've got plenty of time. Sorry, it just dawned on me that whenever I've used Merecasters, it makes the video like 5 million minutes longer. As soon as you place this device in the palm of your hand, the stately dance of the clockwork planets mounted upon it becomes a frantic spinning reel. In the heart of the thing, a contemplative hum grows, as though the machine itself were studying the path of the planets above it. Listening, you hear shadows of words within that sound, speaking of the Mia within this device. You study the whirl of the planets in your palm. Your eyes might be deceiving you, but it does seem as though some of the orbs are slightly transparent, and that tinier planets are orbiting within them. Oh, I should have slept. I've got no might. Whoopsies. Blue. Once you had 24 words for all its hues and shades, metaphors to glaives, capes, and courtesans' eyes. Now the sky is just blue. The ground is stone. The man before you is fat. Now all is vague and drab, like... The memorialist sees you've stopped, and he halts as well. Let's have a rest, then, he says, passing you a bottle of fortified water as he catches his breath. This drink they brew in the Valley of Dead Heroes. Gone. We aren't far from his cenotaph. The fat man wipes his brow. Deep in your pocket, your hand feels for the round tin that holds the worms. Your fingers clutch it tight, and as they do, they brush a piece of paper. Are you his shadow? The memorialist asks abruptly. Calicut Envor, I mean. The one you came to see. Without waiting for a response, he barrels onward. We thought he'd cast his shadow among his own kind. We reasoned that with the tablet gone, his line was lost forever. He stops and flushes more deeply, then hastily, with a sigh, he adds, But shadows fall where they will, as they will. Calicut, Anvor, Tabet, shadows. They flit around the edges of your mind, escaping your grasp, but the worms, they are well within reach. Shall we continue, Pilgrim? The memorialist asks to break the silence. One more short hike will do it. Your body is ready, your mind is not. Let's look at the paper in my pocket, I guess. You slip the crisp, neatly folded sheet from your pocket and carefully open it. I will want the worms, but I will be strong. I will wonder what I have lost, but they will only rob me further. I will endure, and I will build the tower of my intellect anew. Calicut Anvor will furnish the material. The mind link, not the worms, will be my tool. The mind link. The dead-eyed trader from Huraf sold it for the last of your once great heap of prizes and bounties. Now it's slung from your belt, a hideous mask with a synth tube hanging off it like some Sathoshi tentacle. Examine the tin. Snort a worm. Well, we're not doing that to the poor worms. The tin is old and unremarkable, scuffed and dented, but sturdy enough it opens easily. Inside is a clump of bristly worms, blind and thin, barely moving. Your fingers itch and tremble, your nostrils flare. You no longer know their name, but you know exactly how to use them. Careful not to spill the precious contents, you close the tin and slide it back into your pocket. I wonder if they're a drug of some sort. Calicat Anvor Shadows Tabat. The memorialist regards you skeptically, as if he expects to be the butt of a joke. As he looks in your eyes, however, he softens. We live in a world of darkness, Pilgrim, and each of us is just a shadow of one of the great heroes buried here in the valley. But there's a light that shines beyond the world. To know it, we shadows must measure ourselves against the heroes who cast us, and thus learn the light that lives beyond. He takes a swig from the canteen. I thought you set out on this pilgrimage to visit the tomb of Calighat Anvor, because you were his shadow, that you wanted to stand before him and find enlightenment. Am I wrong? Are you his shadow or not? I guess yes, I am. The memorialist smiles. It's a rare honor to join a shadow and hero, and a joy for those of us who shepherd pilgrims through the valley. He gestures to the hilltop towards which you've been hiking. Just over that rise is the monument. As for his tomb, you said that the cenotaph would lead the way. I can't see how, but for the famous puzzle breaker of Sega's Cliffs, I am sure it will be simple. Your mind might still be clouded, but at least now the form of things has become clearer. Let's go. We're going to avoid snorting worms. As you follow the memorialist up the crumbling path, he carries on about a time when all the roads in the valley were as well paved as the streets of Sega's Cliffs. Then reaching the hill crest, he falls into reverential silence. When you catch up, you see the sight that awed him even for the 1000th time. A clutch of exquisite monuments, ranging from vast to miniature, from abstract to eerily lifelike. The memorialist points to one of them, a many-sided slab of black stone, and gestures for you to follow. This might be the cenotaph of Calighat Anvor, Tabert General and would-be world conqueror. Up close, the cenotaph is not so remarkable. Its faces are adorned with gruesome stylized reliefs depicting the Tabert and their Dragolith mounts trampling the corpses of their foes. Neat geometric glyphs encircle the panels. Like the images themselves, they are embossed rather than engraved. The memorialist clears his throat. Of course, Calighat Anvor isn't here. Like the other heroes, his body's in one of the cells in the catacombs beneath us. He nods at the monument. This is its own sort of shadow. All memorials are. As your guide mumbles something about the difference between expression, impression, and reality, your attention returns to the cenotaph itself. Examine the images. No doubt some historian could tell the tale behind each panel. What doomed race the Tabert annihilated here, what grand battle was waged there. But to you, they're just an ugly blur that tugs at shameful memories without ever quite dragging them to the surface. This is not the knowledge you came for. On one side of the cenotaph, there's something else, an obscene picture crudely etched rather than raised, its edges scorched black. The memorialist clears his throat awkwardly. A graffito from just after the Tabert were beaten, carved with a plasma torch by a bitter nano. He coughs again. The visual pun on Black 3 must be obvious. Sadly, we can't possibly fix the damage. Study the glyphs. What seem at first individual glyphs are far more complex. Smaller symbols assembled into larger patterns, linked into chains, twined and twisted into knots. Never a tangle or ramble. It is more mathematical or scientific notation than language. Running your fingers across the glyphs, you see that they shine briefly under your touch, then fade. Perhaps there is a formula here to be solved, a structure, a higher hidden order to be found. Perhaps here you could catch glimmers of the tablet's military mastery. But the sieve of your mind holds nothing, and any secrets slip right through. As you struggle to decipher the symbols, the memorialist hurries over. This one means war, he says, illuminating a cluster repeated endlessly on the centitaph. This one means death. He picks out another and shows the ideogram for soldier, weaves into warband, which can in turn mesh into column or army. Excitement grows in his voice as he leads you to another panel and shows you the unique markings that compose the pattern for underspine, a high council, we think, or god. He notes what seems to be a structure to the writing, a pattern within the pattern. Could it be a puzzle to open the way to Calig Hat Anvor? He asks expectantly. You have no answer for his hopes. Okay, study the basin. Carved into the centitaph's plinth is a wide, shallow bowl, perfectly smooth, perfectly ovoid. In its center is a small drain that runs into the monument. Around its rim is a geometric pattern, simple and composed of a single recurrent shape. You recognize the symbol, blood. Of course, it could be nothing else. Your guide keeps back from the basin as you examine it and shares no thoughts. Spill some blood into the basin? Sacrifice the memorialist. Beneath your guide's worried gaze, you nick your wrist and drizzle some blood into the bowl. Nothing comes of it. Whatever flows through your veins will not slake the stone's thirst. Oh, we are going to have to sacrifice, aren't we? You trick yourself into thinking that you can crack whatever code the stone holds, but neither logic nor luck makes any headway. The glyphs shine and fade, but nothing happens. Given the endless combinations, not even the persistence you had of old could break through this lock. So we either snort a worm or sacrifice the memorialist. Whoever thought in my life this would be the decision that I'm making? Gripping a grub beneath 2 fingers, you slip it into your nostril and breathe as deeply as you can. The worm works with you, eager to reach its meal. You feel it squirm the last stretch, and then pain like a knife stabs at your brain, and you know the worm is feeding, eating grey matter and peeing neurostimulants, letting your mind reconquer the vast territories it has lost. Nematodes, that's what they're called, not worms. And cerulean, that's the sky's colour, not blue. The rush of understanding overwhelms you. You read the world's unwritten words, devise stratagems, unravel mysteries. Your brain races with the speed brought on by the worm's pee, and through your thoughts run the tablet symbols, spinning, twisting, combining, and dividing. There is a meaning here, tangled amid the knotted glyphs, and your mind is unraveling it surely, but not fast enough. Your thoughts become painfully, shamefully slow, and the puzzle you felt so close to breaking now seems impregnable. Another worm, just one more, and your mind, honed like a sword, will slice through the skeins. You're sure of it. So sure of it, you find yourself sniffing in anticipation, a predator on the scent. I mean, sure, okay, let's do another one. Another worm, and the cenotaph's puzzle crumbles before you. It seems so simple now, so obvious, a prayer woven within the story, a prayer of submission to the truth of war and blood and death. You need but touch the glyphs and the way will open before you. Well, do that. Your fingers race across the glyphs, which now do not fade as you progress. Rather, with each touch, they grow brighter and brighter. You can hear the excited gasp of your guide as you reach the last side of the cenotaph. With a flourish, you press the final symbols. The skein ends in war, of course. Blue light pours forth from the cenotaph, forming a kind of shimmering portal. Through it you see hints of a room. "His tomb," whispers the memorialist. A smile sneaks onto your face as you see the way before you. Let's just step on through, I think. You step towards the wavering energy field and stare at the blue-tinged tomb beyond, the resting place of Calicat Anvor. The memorialist remains at a respectful distance. May you find enlightenment beside your hero, pilgrim. Tarrying no longer, you plunge through. The tomb's walls are bare stone, as is its floor. In fact, the room is empty except for the sarcophagus that sits at the center, a crystalline Numenéra that hums with ancient, indefatigable energy. Bathed in the portal's light, the room feels almost underwater, a sensation heightened by the air's unnatural weight. I'm assuming we're going to be snorting worms. The sarcophagus is divided into 3 parts, a wide bier, an elongated pentagonal coffin, and a curved lens-like lid. The bier is decorated with familiar glyphs. You recognize war and death and purity among them. But these designs hold little interest. They are just catchwords, and they will teach you nothing of the tablet genius. The coffin, for its part, is a single hunk of milky aquamarine. The lid is less opaque, and through it you can see the corpse's silhouette. Most importantly, you notice a simple locking mechanism holding the two together. Opening the sarcophagus would be a straightforward matter. Let's do that then. A few twists of the coffin's cylindrical lock, and the lid rises up with a hiss of icy, age-old air. As the mist clears, you see at last the face of Calicat Anvor. You feel nothing at the sight of him, never having known the terror of his triumvirate. His inhuman features are slightly mummified but well preserved. His ebon tablet is faded with time that even the sarcophagus could not keep at bay. But it is his head that matters, not his clothes. His head and its brain and the insight sheathed within, an edge keen enough to cut through the tangle of your own failures. Let's use the mind link, I guess. Once you slip the helmet over your face, you can't see and can barely breathe. Trapped in the mask's damp darkness, you fumble for the socket at the base of the corpse's skull. At last you find it and, still struggling, try to bring the conduit tube into contact. Suddenly the darkness explodes with light, the nebulous patchwork glow of your own mind, and beyond it the glorious mandala formed by the thoughts of Calicat Anvor. A mote emerges from that pattern, and a confused voice whispers, "You are not the Underspine." Almost instantly, the geometry of his mind transforms into a star fortress from whose bastion dagger-like shapes stream forth. "You will not taint my thoughts," the tablet voice rumbles as his fleet soars toward you. There's no time to try and reason with him, if that would ever be possible. It seems madness that he fears you could pollute his mind, when merely fending off his force shall be at the limits of your worm-wasted will. I'm just gonna let him in. The vanguard of the general's mind pierces into your own and sweeps across it, surveying the landscape and its defenders before withdrawing to a neutral darkness between you. You can see the tablet's disgust in the shape and color of his thoughts. The texture of the general's mind ripples as he arranges his thoughts, absorb what his scouts have scaped from your mind. At last, like a messenger, a sphere splits off from the pattern and floats before you. "Pilgrim," the word is spat out. "I have seen the secrets you keep from yourself, the endless battle you meant to end, and the red wreckage your solution left behind. I am unmoved. I killed more, lost more, and fell farther without surrendering the truth." The sphere shimmers and flattens into a kind of mirror. "You have come because you would prove yourself again, through me, by me." The thought floats slowly backwards. "But I am not your Underspine." I want you to feel the emptiness in my mind. A row of red-rimmed pyramids sprout along the fringe of the Anvor's mind like quills or border forts. Better to be dead and gone than housed in such corruption. What did you see in me? His mind ripples with amusement, fear, vanity, weakness, deceit. There is a long silence. It is your duty to know yourself and to be yourself. A thin silver sliver of thought shoots out from his mind and stabs into your own. It is an image, a battlefield strewn with countless corpses and shattered war machines. A regal woman stands beside you, rigid with rage. Puzzle breaker indeed, she sneers. The image, be it memory or Tabat deception, fades away, and the Kalig Hat Anvor offers no more. I want to learn the trick of the Tabat warfare? A purple ripple runs across the mind of Kalig Hat Anvor, and you feel a harsh rasp of Tabat laughter. The weak-willed and degenerative always dream that the great prevail by tricks or cheats or chance. His thoughts array themselves in interlinked chains of blue and black. But war disabuses tricksters of their vanity. Failure falls upon those who proved false by battle, and victory is the stamp of truth. The chains stretch and run throughout the patterns of his mind. We did not master deceit or even war. We mastered our own authentic selves. We triumphed by philosophy, not strategy. Your kind has been wiped out? As you tell the Tabat general of his kind's demise, the geometric perfection of his thoughts fractures for a moment, not quite into chaos or organic shapes, but into sharp shards that cannot quite form. Some of these needles jab into your own mind, probing, confirming that you tell the truth. I see, Anvor answers. Eventually the fragments of his mind reform, though the ranks of its guardians seem thinned. At least they are safe from the corruption of change. To be frozen forever in the cold death is a better fate than a seamy, teeming welter of your city. Tell me more of your philosophy? A small cube of ideas detaches from the pattern of the general's mind and unfolds before you. In all systems, the variable is subordinate to the constant. The measure of things must be fixed. Lines of thought stab out from the unfolded eidolon, probing your mind like outriders. You do not comprehend. The eidolon rearranges itself into a pyramid. When one stands at the utmost peak of the highest mountain, an advance is no better than a retreat. All change is declined. Again he probes, and again you are found wanting. To not fall, one must say, there is no more ascent, here I stay. Many have so spoken, but the Tabat alone spoke truly, resisting the vanity of progress. I don't know, join me. Attempt to break the mind link. Anvor strives to bind you, to encircle and ensnare your thoughts for a final, fatal battle, but your mind is supple and not long ago learned to slip free from where it would not dwell. The darkness between you grows, the light of his pattern dims, and soon you are once more wrapped in a reeking leather mask. You pull the mind link off, and without a backward glance for the Tabat corpse, stagger forth from the tomb. The blue portal fades behind you, the blue sky spreads above, a breeze blows across your sweat-soaked skin. Monuments stretch as far as the eye can see, shadows the memorialists call them. Your mind has shadows of its own, some blackened by Anvor, some by the worms, and some by older, darker causes. But for now the sun shines down upon you, and you have left death in the tomb. Well, that was something. I'm not quite sure what. But oh yeah, cool, I'm still golden blue. But it was something. Alright, sorry, this will be another long video.